Today we're reviewing these, the Fanatec CSL Elite Loadcell pedals by German brand Fanatec. These are entry level pedals. They come at a good price, they've got a lot of functionality, and we want to know if these pedals match up against more expensive counterparts available to buy in the sim racing marketplace. So they come at a low price, but do they give a low level of satisfaction and performance? Stay tuned to find out. We've got the Fanatec Club Sport Elite Loadcell pedals. Now, a few things about the Club Sport Elite Loadcell pedals. They come in two different flavours. You can buy the 2-pedal set, which has got a throttle and a brake, but no load cell. That's available now for £90, or you can upgrade to the version that we've got here, which is the 3-pedal set that includes a separate load cell brake. Very important load cell brakes for those of us who've tried them before. This particular flavour comes with a 90 kilogram force on that one, so you can put a lot of force through the brake in this pedal. It's adjustable, so on the back of the pedals you've got some little spacers. In these spacers you come with 3 different kinds depending on how heavy you want the brake to be. So you can have it quite a spongy feel with a lot of travel, or, much to my personal preference, you can have the stiffer, more firmer feel under your foot that requires a greater pressure when braking to get maximum braking capability within the sim. Now, the Club Sport CSL Elites are a very attractive set of pedals, I think. As you can see here, they come with the metal base plate, so that's a nice tough aluminium material. It's very sleekly finished in black. It's just got some simple logo in, the Fanatec logo on the front, and I think it's really quite slick looking. It looks really nice. It's a very neat finish, it's a very clean finish, and will definitely not look out of place on a wide variety of different sim racer rigs. Now this metal base plate also serves a purpose for being a mounting function. Underneath the little rubber finishing strip that we see on the top here, you've got some holes that you can use to mount the pedals in any configuration that you so desire. And this, for me, is one of the biggest features, one of the best points of the Fanatec Club Sport Loadcell Elites, in that you can adjust where you wish your 3 or 2 pedal configuration to sit within the real estate available within the pedal set. Particularly useful for those of us like myself with massive feet, or people who've got certain characteristics they're looking for in a set of pedals when coming for heel and toeing, for example. You don't want the pedals too closely spaced together, otherwise your foot will be catching on each individual pedal. So this is nice that you can place them where you wish within the real estate available from this foot plate, and it's quite simple and quite straightforward. Just a couple of bolts to mount them firmly in whichever position you necessarily see fit, that's most comfortable, most user friendly, most useful for you. I really like that, and that's an adjustment that isn't necessarily available on a wide range of pedals. For example, my normal set of pedals is the, again, Fanatec, the Club Sport version 2s, and they have no side-to-side adjustability, which I've occasionally, I mean, they're well placed as they are, but I find that quite frustrating, and sometimes may wish to have a slightly different configuration than is available to me. And for me, that's where the CSL Elites really do stand out. So we've talked about the design, are well finished. They've got like a little rubber texture, so if you're racing in socks, they grip onto your feet but are comfortable quite nicely. And if you're racing in shoes, sim racing shoes or karting shoes, car racing shoes, whatever that might be, again, they've got some nice properties where your foot will not roll off and run off, but at the same time it's not an aggressive material, so it doesn't hurt the bottom of your feet, it doesn't become uncomfortable and rub over long distance racing. I've had these pedals now for a few months. I wanted to give them plenty of time attached to my rig so I could get comfortable and get used to them and really start to feel what the pros and cons of the pedal set are. And I've got to admit, for an entry-level set at a very reasonable price, they've really impressed me. As I said before, it's £90 for the 2-pedal set, or just under £200 for the 3-pedal, including the Loadcell brake. So if you had a 2-pedal set, you come with an accelerator and brake. When you buy the Loadcell brake, you can convert the previously used brake pedal to a clutch pedal. It comes with a little rubber spacer in the back that you insert, nice and straightforward. It's all very easy build stuff, and that turns in to a really nice feeling clutch. Now, I find pedals quite important for my sim racing experience, not necessarily from a lap time, although there absolutely is lap time in a good set of pedals, but more from an immersion point of view is where I'm mostly coming from when I'm looking at sim racing hardware. And what I particularly like about these CSL Elites is the throttle and how much force needs to be applied to the throttle pedal and the clutch pedal. They're both very well sprung, nicely stiff pedals. I think they've got it just about right for the throttle pedal. It's stiff enough to give the amount of travel that I need to modulate the throttle coming out of corners or in wet conditions, but it's light enough not to be aware on the muscles of the legs during a longer distance race. Now obviously, for me personally, you can never have enough stiffness in a sim racing pedal, and it could certainly do with a little bit more, but for the price tag that we're talking about, I expected these to be pretty poor in terms of strength and stiffness. Stiff pedals than this that give a far less satisfactory feel underfoot. So with that regard, I actually think what they've done with a throttle pedal here is fantastic, and coupling that to the adjustability where I can move the pedals left to right in whatever way that I so desire is a massive plus point for these CSL Elites, and something that I frankly has exceeded my expectations. So I think in that regard, really well done to Fanatec for what they've managed to achieve. We've got functionality and feel from what I would certainly think would be a more expensive set of pedals, but brought in to a sensible and accessible price point. I've driven pedals of similar sort of price range, and these for me far exceed what I experienced with other brands. The brake for me doesn't have quite the feel underfoot that you would get in a much more expensive set, which is understandable, let's be honest. As I say, these are 200 quid all in. I do not expect them to be comparative to an 8, 9, £1,000 sort of price range. But I think the brake pedal, I've got it set to the stiffest. I'm using the spacers on the back of the pedal, the stiffest spacers and spring on there. And it feels good, and it's certainly, you can feel the 90 kilogram of Loadcell capability in there, and it's definitely a marked step up from non-Loadcell brakes, but it's not quite got the feel that I would have personally liked underfoot. Again though, we need to caveat everything we're saying here by saying this is a £200 set of pedals, and in that regard it's fantastic. A Loadcell brake in a £200 set of pedals is phenomenal value for money, and it is a massive step up over traditional spring brakes that you would get in other commonly available pedal sets for sim racing. but I would have liked to have seen a slightly more realistic feel on the brake. I certainly think I've been less impressed with the brake than I have with the throttle or the clutch, because they really stood out to me as being very, very high quality. Saying that though, overall, I think the product is exceptionally good and I've been incredibly impressed. I think it absolutely looks the part. It's very neat, it's very clean, it's very smart looking. It's got a lovely black finish on here that's been really well done, and it's very resistant to scratches. As I say, I've had these on my rig for a couple of 3 months now. I've given them some good use and they've not marked or scuffed or scratched once. And there's a lot to be said for that, including the slightly awkward mounting, which I'll come on to in a little while. So they look the business, they feel nice and high quality. They're a little bit lighter in weight than the Fanatec Club Sport version 2s that I've been using, which, strictly speaking, probably won't matter that much to the vast majority of sim racers. But certainly in my case, where I've been mounting and unmounting them several times for different reasons, getting different feels and configuring them on my rig, a little bit less weight's no bad thing, makes it a little bit easier to maneuver them around. But they've got some real big bolts that you screw them down into either your wheel plate, or if you've got an 80/20 aluminium rig or something. So they are fairly straightforward to mount. Access points are really all right as well. And yeah, they've just, again, to me, feel like Fanatec are really thought through what they want these pedals to be, how they want the functionality to match up with design quality as well. And I think they've done a really, really good job. And again, I keep going back to the fact they're a 200 quid set of pedals. For that kind of money, it's a no-brainer for me. They're a really well put together piece of equipment. Let's get on to a couple of the downsides now. One of which is mounting. Now, at the back of these pedals are 2 small mounting holes on each pedal, and that's fine. The accessibility is nice, it gives you plenty of options to mount it on different configurations that you've got. That's no problem. But on the front of the pedals, the mounting holes are recessed slightly into the base plate, so it makes it very, very difficult for you to access where those screws are and tighten it up with an Allen key. For someone like myself who's running an 80/20 aluminium rig, not too much of a problem, because I can slide off that piece of metal, put the little locking nut screws in, slide it onto the piece of metal and reinstall the whole foot plate with the Club Sport CSL Elites attached to it. But for those of you that are maybe trying to mount on a base plate that don't have that level of adjustability, it can be a little fiddly, it can be a little awkward, and it's difficult to think how Fanatec could have done it differently based on the whole solid structure that you got at the front of the pedals. But at the same time, that's a little bit awkward, a little bit fiddly. And additionally, you've got to be careful with your cable management underneath the pedals to make sure none of the cables are fouled by the unit itself. They run down the appropriate channels and the exit at the right side. And that leads me on to another slight gripe, although nothing major again. There is a cable that plugs into the pedals that then follows off onto the PC via USB to plug it into your computer. And that plugs into an electric unit in the middle of this base plate, which is absolutely fine until you catch it and it comes out while it's installed. And then you've not got enough room to easily get your hand in there and re-plug it back in when it's installed on your rig. I've tried, trust me. So what that means is you have to then go about the rigmarole of taking them, unmounting them back off your rig, firmly reinserting the cable, and going through the production that we just spoke about again to remount them back onto your rig, undo the pedal plate in my case so I can slide it back on again. And that's just a little bit awkward and a little bit difficult to manage. Again though, I see why Fanatec have done that, because they want to keep cable management confined within the part of the part of the pedal set that you can't see. And actually it makes it really nice and neat, because from an aesthetic point of view, when they're mounted and all fully plugged in, you've only got the one lead that comes off of it. And I hate cables. Cables wind me up. So I really like that. And on the one hand, it's a good thing. On the other hand, it's a little bit of a frustration should you pull the cable out. Ideally, what I would like to have seen would have been the end part of the cable to be a solid piece of plastic or metal or whatever with the end on it. And then you could easily like rod it in to the point and secure it, rather than having the flappy loose cable and trying to manipulate it into where it needs to go. But to be honest, for a £200 set of pedals with a Loadcell brake, with the positives that I've already mentioned, if they're the only negatives, and they're only small negatives at that, I am very, very satisfied with that. I like these on a par with my Club Sport version 2s that I regularly use, and they're considerably more expensive. I actually like this better than some more expensive set of pedals I've driven, and certainly wouldn't say these are significantly less impressive than much more expensive pedals available on the marketplace. I genuinely and truly been impressed with the CSL Elite pedals with the Loadcell brake edition, and I would recommend them. I've had no problems in the 3 months or so in which I've used them. They work straight out of the box. They work across a whole variety of different racing simulations: Assetto Corsa, Race Room Racing Experience, R Factor 2, Automobilista, Project Cars and Project Cars 2, to name but a few. They work in the Dakar 18 game. They work very nicely in a whole variety of different race and car driving simulations straight out the box, which is a big thing for me. I want to set my pedals up. I don't mind doing a little bit of configuration, but I don't want to be spending a week getting the pedal exactly where I need it to be. It works out of the box, and it works nicely out of the box as well. One thing I do like, in the Fanatec property page on the computer, you can set a minimum and maximum brake and throttle force if you wish, so you can and clutch as well, so you can allow yourself a little bit of dead zone if you leave your foot resting on the clutch, for example, while driving. I think that's a nice touch as well by Fanatec. And you can set a maximum force as well, so if you don't for whatever reason wish to depress the brake pedal to its fullest potential, or the throttle or the clutch, you can set a point artificially where maximum travel is reached by the software, and I think that's really nice. I think these have been some rather excellent pedals that I've thoroughly enjoyed using and will continue to use for the foreseeable future. So yeah, really good, really impressed. I hope you found this video useful. Please do feel free to post any questions in the comment section of this video. I'll do my best to answer them honestly and straightforwardly as I possibly can. If you've enjoyed this video and you're looking forward to more product reviews and some giveaways we've got going as well, please do give us a like and a subscribe and a follow. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. So again, follow us on our range of social media channels, that'd be marvellous. And look out as well for some more Fanatec product reviews. I've got a CSL Elite wheel set and also the Fanatec Club Sport handbrake to review in the near future. And we've got a range of giveaways coming. So some really cool, top quality sim racing kit is going to be given away on our YouTube channel. So stay tuned for that as well. I've been Paul. This has been RETV. We've been trying out the Fanatec Club Sport Elite pedals for PC, also work on console. I hope you've enjoyed it. Until next time, sim racing's awesome, guys. So are you, and I'll catch you later. Goodbye.